and also by the buyer's perception in the supermarket segment. We want Перекресток more and more to be different from formats of competitors by its unique product line, which has to become wider, both in online and offline segments, and also by the highest possible service level in supermarket segment. Andrei Kalmykov, CEO of Перекресток, will share with us about these plans a bit later today. And of course, it is very important, and it's a principal thing in our development is our communication with all suppliers. Because having SKUs on shelf, it's a key success factor of any retailer today, which it has always been. And I would like to emphasize the main elements which are important for us in our dealings with suppliers. We are market leaders. We are chosen by the biggest number of buyers in Russia. And today, buyers are expecting from us, first of all, best prices, in-store prices. And now it is becoming very critically important. And as a leader, we're expecting the guarantee of the best price. I think it's a fair claim towards our buyers. And we are going to be monitoring price levels, and we will be paying more and more attention to this aspect. And we are going to maintain the principle of best price, and we will be making or giving preference to other suppliers. Now, what is important for us, number one, is the transparency in purchasing prices, meaning that you and I have common understanding of price components, and we are approving them. Promo, logistics, and additional services, as well as the on-shelf price. They're all important. We'll be discussing that at one of our roundtables with commercial directors. Stability of supply and service level. And here our buyers are not willing to go to compromise, and we will follow their lead. One important aspect of our operations is joint forecasting and providing guarantees for the volumes. We do understand how important this factor is for the whole agro-industrial complex and for the processing facilities. As far as we are concerned, we are willing to provide guarantees, and with many of you, we are moving towards providing volume guarantees by using different tools, and we are going to be discussing this today at our roundtables dedicated to logistics. Moving to the forecasting and purchase guarantees on your side is yet another element where our procurement terms should be no worse, or at least on par with our competition. I'm not going to dive today into market trends and details about consumer behavior because you're very well on top of the subjects. In the years to come, we're going to be working amid real disposable incomes of population shrinking, and this new reality requires more investments into convenience and the price. For the buyers, we're speaking about the investments into on-shelf price to maintain habitual consumption levels for our clients and customers. We will continue to sell socially important goods with minimal, sometimes even down to zero markups. And we will provide deep discounts to the retirees and families with children. We will continue online investments, that is into expanding our on-shelf choice for our buyers. In this year, we have relaunched our loyalty program, and now it is a combined loyalty program for Пятерочка and Перекресток brands. We'll continue investments in building one unified loyalty and subscription programs. A lion's share of our investments will be dedicated to improving the client's experience, its service and the whole environment, and positive emotions for our buyers. We'll continue investments in CVM and personalized promo, which we'll discuss at the marketing roundtable. I wish everyone to have a great work today, and hopefully this conference will become the new starting point in our communication and long-time partnership. Thank you for your attention. Igor, thanks indeed. And I would like to give the baton, so to speak, to the first ever woman president of X5, Ekaterina Lobacheva. Ekaterina, through her example, she shows this very important topic, and she's going to be speaking about this very important topic. Irina, the floor is yours. Yeah, good morning, everyone. I'm very happy and pleased to discuss today some of our priorities in sustainable development and social projects which X5 Group is working on and doing. At the slide 1, you can see that in this new reality, we're sticking to our priorities through 2030. And in particular, I'm speaking about ecological goals and health goals and developing principles of healthy nutrition and food. And we also want to be #1 in the ratings of employers in the food stuff retail sector. And we also would like to increase the number of families who will be receiving some food help by 30%. At the second slide, you can see that we have set some goals through 2030, and we are adhering to these goals. And in terms of number of families to who we're helping in the field of providing food or food distribution, the interest for sustainable development is shown not only by the big companies, but also our buyers are concerned about that. Pyaterочка and Перекресток have had our in-house research about the client's attitude, and looking at the data, we can see that 9 out of 10 are buyers. They believe that the retail chains, they have to support charities, environment, and health practices. And they are also speaking about recycling, giving up plastic bags, and giving up printed receipts towards electronic receipts. And also the discounts for retirees and other categories of buyers, and discounts for healthy foods. And our social programs are about people. We're helping to those people who have been lost and developing the better environment for sick people and preventing heart diseases among kids and orphan situations. You can see all these social programs, but I would like to dwell on 2 projects, namely the Goodness Basket. Kindness Basket is the longest project which we've been doing with a partner bank. We have a collection of food items for certain categories of our population. Those who both the buyers and the company are collecting these foods, and these foods are being handed over to the needy ones through our volunteers. We're so happy that our suppliers and volunteers are supporting these projects, and they're adding their items into these kindness baskets. And also I would like to share about the new product. It's a food sharing. Food sharing is a project which will enable you not to throw away the food, spoiled food in the big quantities. Now we are doing the pilot in bread category, meaning that we are always looking through our breads, and if you can see that the bread has a close expiry date, this bread is being handed over to the charity foundation, and then they provide it as a food sharing. And from the one store, they may collect from 120 to 180 kilos of bread, depending on what format we're speaking about. These are really big numbers, and we understand that it will be very popular and needed. And we are pursuing the social goal and ecological goal, because if we're not throwing the food away, that means that we dispose them to a less extent, and we are helping the environment. And the first outcome is that it looks like this project is going to be well developed in our retail chains, and we will be making every effort to make sure that this will be ever more successful. As for the limitations which we can see in this space would be the VAT or value-added tax for these items, but we are going to keep the dialogue with the government agencies to provide relief and to provide benefits on these, focus areas. And we would like to encourage all of our partners to join our social projects. Ekaterina, thank you. Let's move on to the leaders of our retail chains. Vladislav Kurbatov. You may have known him as a successful director of the supermarket formats. About less than a year ago, he brought his talent and experience into Pyaterочка. And today he's going to share of his vision of priorities for convenience stores for the next year. Hello, dear colleagues, dear partners. I'm very happy to welcome you in these dialogue sessions. So glad to be here finally, even though we have an online format, because the offline format is much more convenient format for communication and for a dialogue. But anyhow, I will do my best in this very short time given to me to bring you up to date on where Peterочка is today, what has been done in this past year. We've done actually quite a lot. Spoiler alert. We've done a lot thanks to you. And what are we planning to do in the next year of 2023? Igor has already mentioned in his presentation many important things which are indeed mean a lot to us today. And among them, I'm speaking about the changes of our CVP and about the fact that we've been working on enhancing our business efficiency. And I guess the third part we're going to be focusing on is building a culture or building a partnership culture, all the way through a specific brick-and-mortar store, all the way to the head office. In my presentation, I would like to quote Dale Carnegie. It's my favorite quote by Dale Carnegie. And I think it speaks to many things which we hold to be true in retail business. Dale Carnegie once said that I love strawberries with cream, but the fish, they like worms. When I'm going fishing, I'm not thinking about what I like, but what fish likes. So I'm getting the worms ready. So we, in Dear Partners, we're fishing every day. We are catching different fish, and each of us has our own pond. And anyway, as a matter of fact, it is very important for us every day to be thinking about our buyers.
And in the beginning of 2022, we reviewed our target customer profile, and we realized that six profiles are responsible for about 70% of our turnover. And for them, the biggest need is frugality, it's savings, and we decided to build our CVP around those needs. So for us, one of the greatest priorities is low prices on the shelf. When I say low, I don't mean to say that all our prices should be DLP, but unfortunately, today in the market, there is a certain transformation of the retail trade landscape, and Igor has already mentioned that today hard discounters are becoming more popular. Their share in the market is growing, and we see that people are responding more and more to low prices. So in dialogue with you, we would like to discuss that priority more. We would like to talk about the models that we follow in our lives. The high-low model that used to exist and used to work at the Russian market is becoming less and less relevant. Unfortunately, high is still around, but low, in the best case, today means the specialist stores or hard discounters prices. So in the way the model was conceived originally and in the way that it used to operate for a while, it can no longer continue, it can no longer exist. And we see that in many categories and with many partners, the difference in our prices relative to competitors can be as high as 30 or 40%, which is unacceptable if we position ourselves as a store that offers lucrative prices to the customers. That is why in the near future and in the negotiations campaign, during one-to-one negotiations, we are going to talk a lot about what we will be doing in the future and which model we are going to follow. It's important that we understand the procurement prices. The prices should be appealing to us, because this will enable us to be appealing to customers. Another important item is the simplicity of choice. As I have already mentioned in the beginning, it enables us to achieve two things. It makes choices easier for the consumer by reducing the assortment, and we can also improve our business processes. And where we are saving on performance, we will be able to reinvest that saving into prices. We have already cut our product line by about 15%. And we see that it may seem like a paradox, but the perception of the um, uh, variety of our assortment is improving because people now find the products that they like constantly, and they are very satisfied by that choice. The constancy of the assortment of the product line is one of the key elements that we will have to learn to maintain in the future. And the third element of our CVP is convenience. Convenience means that we are not just very close to the shoppers, but convenience also means omni-channel proposition. And the omni-channel proposition and the online delivery should enable the customers to save not only money, but also to save time. So we are aspiring to make sure that we deliver within 30 minutes. Today, it's approximately the same time that a consumer would be investing into an offline shopping in Peterochka. Convenience means also feedback and the mystery shoppers club and product assessment and complaints handling. It enables us again to be closer to the consumer, and the customers will feel that we really care about their preferences and choices. Igor has already mentioned that one of our ambitions is to remain leaders in the market, and we're sure that we'll be able to achieve this goal through several elements. First, expansion. We will continue to expand. Recently, we had our 19,000th opening, and I'm sure that next year there will be a 20,000th opening of a store, and we'll be progressing towards the 21,000th store. Also, like for like, which is not inflation adjusted. We're sure that our sales per square meter is underutilized, and our activities on CVP will allow us, together with you, to improve the density of sales in the existing 19,000 Peterochkas. So the fair price on the shelf and the constancy of the assortment will help us improve traffic in the stores. Jointly, together with you, we will all benefit from it, and we will see growth in every category. At the same time, we will be keeping an eye on the performance of every supplier, and together with you, we will be making our own choices. What to prefer, the depth of the assortment, the variety of the assortment, and how we are going to make money through both dimensions. Now, a couple of words on our priorities in our relationships with you. I wanted to mention that achieving our ambitious goals cannot be a one-way street. It requires cooperation and collaboration. We are ready and we are willing to change. I have already mentioned partnerships. That means not only inside the chains, but also partnerships with the suppliers. One of the key issues that we used to have in the past, perhaps, is that we did not guarantee long-term volumes of deliveries. It's something that we asked for, but we were not often heard. So it's something that we would like to change and to build profitable partnerships. Also, partnerships means being honest with each other, and the procurement prices that, again, have already been brought up is one of the key factors that allows us to understand that we are truly partners. We are also willing to invest on our part Since there will be a savings effect from OPEX and CAPEX, we are willing to reinvest those savings into prices. We have already seen wonderful results this year together with the colleagues who joined us on this path. And those of you who will be joining us later, I'm sure we will all see the benefit of this approach. We should also concentrate on the efficiency of our assortment. One language that we use to communicate with the customers is the shelf. That's one way to communicate our CVP and our ideology to the customer. If we build the right shelf, if we have the good, merchandising on the shelf, then customers will understand us. The customers will be willing to come to our stores more often and shop with us. We will concentrate more on the low-value segment. We will think harder about what messages we are sending to the customers with the remaining product line. Our own private label will be an important component, just like exclusive labels. It's very important that we differentiate from our competitors so that the shoppers will want to come to Pyaterichka stores. We are open for dialogue. Many companies have already left the market, and thus, we will be able to increase the share of private label and give the right offering to our customers. The third item I need to mention here is the level of service. The events from the beginning of the year affected availability and the level of service for many of you. Many of you have already overcome the implications, and our service level, which fell to almost 75% back in March, today has recovered to 94, 95%. I once read a statement, something like, happiness is this period of time between old trouble and the new trouble. So, well, unfortunately, there are still some partners whose service level is extremely low, and I'm sure we will have to work harder together, either to improve that service level or to find a replacement to these partners. And in conclusion, let me briefly inform you about the structural changes that we've undertaken and the reasons for us doing that. Pyaterichka is a big chain, and it grew very fast, and it used to be rather centralized. We did this in order to take decisions quickly and to move forward faster without having to wait for the headquarters to take decisions. Now we have 5 territories with 5 executive directors at the helm of each of these territories, and now the territories will have more freedom also in decision making, and the territories themselves will decide on the assortment because they understand their customers better. We set up more macro regions that will enable us to become more local and to focus more on specific local customers. And the objective of the central office is to be the strategist, to be the ideologist, to be the methodologist, and also to be the negotiator at the national level. That's it from me. I will be happy to take your questions. Thank you very much for being with us, and see you during our next negotiations round. Thank you very much, Vlad. And our next speaker is the leader of Перекресток, Andrei Kolmykov. Andrei joined the team in August this year, and I was thinking how best to introduce Andrei to you. And then I realized that it's best if you Googled Andrei yourselves later, and now let's hear it from Andrei. Dear friends, good morning, good afternoon. Today I would like to say a couple of words about the new Перекресток in the new normal. and what we can do together to help it change faster for the benefit of the customer. How do we perceive a Перекресток in the near future? It's not just a store that people go to buy foodstuffs. It's a place where you can take your whole family to have a cup of coffee, to get something to eat in a cafeteria, to be emotionally stimulated by visiting the wine rack, to buy the freshest produce and vegetables and meat and fish. It's a place where people go to not only to buy foodstuff, but to be recharged, to enjoy life, and to maintain the level of consumption to which these customers are used to. In order to achieve that, we are going to rework the processes in Перекресток. We want our service to be the friendliest. We want our customers to feel that every person, every employee in the store is happy to see the customers. The employees need to perceive customers as their salaries. We want the assortment to be pleasing to the eye, to be fresh, to be affordable in terms of price. We want our customers to come to one place and get everything they need, to buy coffee, to buy vegetables, to buy wine, to buy fish, to get a cup of coffee, to buy detergents. It's a place you like to be in. It's a place that should be attractive to customers, and we will be able to do that only if we work together. Today, price is extremely important, and the guarantee of the best price is crucial, together with the transparency of pricing. And commercial directors, sales directors of our chains will be talking to this point later. It's also very important that our products are the freshest and the service of level is the highest. The periodicity, the rhythm of sales and deliveries is very, very important. Our shoppers should see full shelves every time they come to the store. The shelves should be full of your products that we will be promoting jointly. As to the changes at Перекресток, we are thinking not only about our transformation in relations with the suppliers, but also the changes in the team, in the processes in the stores, and also the changes in the approaches to how we operate. I wanted to share an interesting case with you. I believe it's a good illustration to the point I'm making here. And together with many of our suppliers, I'm sure we'll have many such cases in the future. It turned out that on our shelf there is a product. Well, actually, it's bread that is baked from yeast and flour, but it doesn't sell. The write-offs exceed 70%. And the decision was almost taken to discontinue the product. And then we had this meeting with the supplier. And we dug and dug and dug, and we investigated the case. It turned out that it wasn't that straightforward. It turned out that the way we store the prefabricated product frozen in our refrigerators, it turned out that we put the bread on the shelf together with 20 different other loaves of bread that look very similar, that have basically the same price, and it's next to impossible for the customers to identify that bread from 19 other similar loaves. And we did not explain anything about this bread to the customers. It's not as soft as other bread that is on the shelf, because it's baked differently. It's a different kind of bread. It can't be as soft and fluffy as many other types of bread that we sell in the store. So it turned out that there were many different reasons why this particular bread did not sell. If you can read it from the slide, well, colleagues say that, wrote on this slide, that we have already solved the case. case. We have not solved it completely, not yet, but we are in the process. It's work in progress for us, and your feedback in this respect is extremely important for us. So if you see that we aren't doing things properly, we do not, I don't know, place the products properly or whatever, please let us know. And at the end of the presentation, you will see my email address on the last slide. Please send your messages to me directly. So again, together we'll be able to improve our sales, improve the loyalty of our clients, improve our profitability. So only through the joint effort we'll be able to achieve that. So here is my email address. Please use it to send your feedback and your suggestions. And let's take a look at this video. This is where care begins, not just groceries for dinner, but choices for everyone's taste. This is where standards meet innovations. Rice with sesame oil, pumpkin with Parmigiano cheese, red berry sauce for meat. This is the birthplace of ideas. Fresh berries go well with soft cheese, and together they make a healthy breakfast. For a festive occasion, get ready-made meals and lots of salmon. And if you're on the move, get flavorful pastries and a coffee to go. This is where people are happy to help and greet you with a smile. Heavy bags will deliver to your doorstep. This is the place for discoveries and the crossroads of choices and ideas. Thank you very much, Andrei. That is a beautiful video. And the last speaker in this session is Ilya Yakubson, the head of Chizhik. As Igor has said, X5 is not waiting till disruptors are coming to knock at its door. We are disrupting the market ourselves. Good morning, colleagues. You know that Chizhik's slogan is more of what we need and less of what we do not need. So the presentation will be short and straight to the point. We will disclose the details of our plans behind closed doors in the negotiation rooms. But today, let me give you an overview of why Chizhik is a window of opportunity for many of you and why you should miss this opportunity. There will be several messages that I would like to deliver today. A year ago, when we had this meeting, we had 25 or 30 stores. If you remember, at the end of the year, we had 72 stores. Right now, there are already more than 400 stores in Russia. At the end of the year, we'll be looking at a number exceeding 500. At the end of 2026, we expect the chain to consist of 5,000 stores. You know very well that discounters are growing faster than the market, and in 5 years, they will have 20% of the Russian market. And then we expect the share to grow further to 25-30% of the total market. 20% of the market is roughly the market share of Petyorichka and Magnit, the convenience stores. So, right in front of your eyes, you will be witnessing a growth of a huge niche in under 5 years. And 50 or 70% of the products sold in those discounters will be private labels, not well-known brands. So you can imagine how this is going to affect the whole FMCG market. The discounter concept worldwide and Chizhik's concept is based on the domination of the private labels on the shelves. And in our case, it's not just any private label, it's proper private brands that are not below but on par and sometimes exceeding well-known brands. And the brands, our own brands, are the basis of our strategy. In this sense, we are not competing with other chains. Rather, we will be competing with you, dear manufacturers of brands. It's competition that we will not be able to avoid. It's a fact of life. But we have an opportunity to create a joint business of a tremendous size. Just think about it. One Chizhik sells 10 to 30 times more per SKU than any convenience store. Let's take 20 as an average number. What does that mean? It means that 500 Chizhiks at the end of the year, in terms of sales per SKU, will equal 10,000 convenience stores. And no headache, no ups and downs between promos, no non-stop realignment of equipment, and the list of benefits can go on and on. It's very easy to plan a year ahead, and I think that it's a dream come true for any supplier. At the end of the next year, we expect to have about 1,500 stores of Chizhiks. 1,500 Chizhiks will mean more or less the same in terms of sales per SKU, 30,000 convenience stores. And Chizhik will be a retailer number one in the country, again, in terms of sales per SKU, and you can be a Chizhik's supplier. How about that? So we suggest that you sell your products to an analog of 30,000 convenience stores in a year's time, starting today. Sounds fantastic, I agree. But again, it's a fact of life. And if you'd like to learn more, you can talk to your colleagues, and they are plentiful, who already have a lot of experience with supplying to Chizhik. And many of you, I'm sure, will grab the opportunity of creating a big and a profitable business together with us. And in conclusion of Chizhik's presentation, let me answer 3 of the frequently asked questions. Why Chizhik sells brands without consent of the brand holder? Well, Chizhik sells only the brands that were contracted by X5 and that are sold also in the discounter segment. Is it possible to prevent the brand sales in Chizhik? Well, yes, of course you can do that, but only provided that you stop sales of the same brand in other chains of the group of companies. And why Chizhik is dumping? Well, not dumping. Our prices are matching the prices of competitors. And the big question is, how do you become Chizhik's partner? And now you will see the difference between us and other stores. You write to X5 suppliers portal, and you don't have to wait for an answer. Don't wait for the answer. I'm not joking. Performance and efficiency is the cornerstone of Chizhik's strategy. We do not want to waste neither your nor our time for virtual answers. We get your offer, we enter it into our database. Every time there is a competition to select a supplier or develop a new brand, you will receive a mailing, an email with all requirements and rules of this tender, of that competition. Our approach to selection of suppliers is extremely transparent. We invite everyone who receives our email to participate in the competition. In conclusion, let me emphasize that Chizhik is extremely ambitious. I'm here for you to understand this, and in order to execute this ambition, we are looking for partners who want to grow together with us, who will support us, and we will support them. We will guarantee on the reciprocal basis the honest and long-term contractual relations. Thank you. Ilya, thank you very much. This is an exciting prospect, but Chizhik feels like a truly hard and deep discounter. You made an impression. Colleagues, please stay with us. Very soon we'll invite you to the Q&A session. We are already receiving questions through the chat box. And I invite once again all of our viewers to send their questions to the chat. Many claim that it's difficult to get through to the X5 management, to get an appointment, to get an answer directly from the top management. Well, now is your chance. Ask questions about your brands, or without mentioning the brand, just send in your question. Now is the wonderful opportunity to ask a direct question to the top management and get a direct answer. As to the presentations of the speakers and whether they will be uploaded, yes, they will be uploaded to the Dialog platform. And this is the platform where you are viewing the broadcast right now. X5 is a special space for our suppliers. There you'll find a lot of useful services, sales-related, logistics-related, the services that are based on big data. And if you are not using the portal yet, I suggest that you start doing it today. And I want to use this opportunity to also advertise our Telegram channel. It's called Dialog X5. It's built specifically for suppliers and contains a lot of useful information. We will post announcements of the upcoming webinars and other resources. It's a tool that we use to maintain our dialogue. Now we'll proceed to the second part of our plenary session, the presentations of the sales directors.
And Valery Pushkarev, Director for Category Management of Pyaterочка chain, will be the first one. Good morning, Yelena, and good morning. And we think those are important. And the first topic and the first thing I would like to highlight is the organizational transformation which is taking place. The Commercial Director's Office is not an exception to that. We are the key player of this corporate transformation. And first of all, I would like to give you the idea behind this transformation. As Vladislav has pointed out, that we would like to be closer to our buyers who want to be faster, more agile into this, and we are undergoing some transformation within our office, director's office. The main goal of this transformation is that we are seeing a different role between the territories and the central office. What do I mean by that? That the goal of the central office and the responsibility of thereof is about building the methodology of developing different categories, and also developing methodologies and the rules of the games for pricing, and also promo management and the product line management. Now, speaking about the regions and territories, they have to fill up the shelves. Today, we have an unprecedented transformation in terms of providing additional capabilities and power to the territories, to the regions. We know that to be closer to our buyers, we have to be more granular and to understand deeply the behavioral changes and purchasing power, but at the same time, we have to be able to be more agile about this competitive landscape, which is, of course, different from between different regions. Well, these are the main, the main aspects of this current transformation and the main ideas which are driving this transformation. And well, this actually is reflected in the structure, in the governance structure which we have today. I would like to identify three big parts. It's a central office. This is where we are doing the category management, and we are communicating with federal suppliers. Next would be directorate of the our own brands or private labels, and also promo management. Well, these are the main points, and you may have some questions about this transformation, like how do we suppliers do, what shall we do? I would like to say the following, that, like I said before, building a category developing strategies and identifying the needs which we will be sort of meeting in our stores, it's the prerogative of the central office of our category management department. At the same time, when making deals with federal suppliers and doing all the approvals, it is also up to the federal category managers. It's a certain, specificity of what is the difference between the central office and different regions. We also have a service center, block, should I say. Service center is about all the routine work which could be done as fast as possible and as high quality as possible. And the third part of this flowchart would be territories. These are different territories, and the size of each territory could be the size of just an average retail chain, which definitely would become one of the top 10 chains. At the same time, the capabilities of what we provide to our territories is filling up the shelf in the store, filling up the assortment. And I want to give you just one example. And I would say that this example may be very specialized, but at the same time, it will give you like a good sneak peek. In such categories like the vinegar, you know that you have a 6% vinegar. And unless we were knowledgeable about the south of our country, they know what it is exactly, we would never meet this demand. We know that they need this type of 6% vinegar, unlike other corners of Russia. This is a very simple example, but yet it shows that it's because it's one you can only know a territory only if you're close to it or you're living in this territory. If you're local, you know your local needs. Another part I would like to highlight would be commercial priorities of Pyaterочка. The commercial priorities, I believe it will be important for all of us, for all suppliers without an exception. Because we are seeing that this is an outcome of our very close cooperation when we are working through all of these priorities together. And I would like to identify some of them here in partnership. And I want to dwell on partnership a little bit. We're speaking about strategic partnerships. And basically, I mean long-term intentions and long-term obligations. And in this regard, I want to say that we want to build relationship with you. Maybe it was not something which was like hugely popular before, but we can see the benefits, and we can be very responsible in this kind of line of business to be able to achieve the maximum of us working together with you. The second priority would be procurements and purchases, and in terms of best price and best sort of like a working terms and conditions with the market leader. And I want to highlight the following, that on top of the terms and conditions, we want to have more transparency in our communication and cooperation with you. And you gave us your feedback. You said that, yes, we need it whenever we are evaluating certain services. Or I think this is the key moment, the key thing I would like to emphasize. The third focus and priority would be the assortment or product mix. We believe that the product mix should be as big as possible despite physical limitations of our stores. We still have to meet the needs of our buyers as much as we can. At the same time, the product mix should be as efficient as possible. And speaking about priorities, I would like to encourage you to do some joint work on that. A bit later, I'm going to show what we have achieved so far. At the same time, we still have a lot of room, room to growth and a lot of things to do. At the same time, we need to develop STM or our own brands or private labels. I also would like to invite you to build in joint private labels. I think there is so much we can do together for the benefit of our business and for the benefit of our buyers. And the fourth priority would be pricing and promo campaigns. Well, first of all, we want to boost the share of efficiency of our promos. I want to say that we have been doing that. We've been having like a steady progress, and now about 60+% of our promo campaigns, they are very efficient. We can see some incremental improvement, but at the same time, I want our partners to be as proactive as we are, and pilot and do something, do those things which may bring in the best efficiency or benefit. EDLP topic, we've been speaking about that, and we have been very proactive in testing and piloting these approaches in different categories. And I have to admit that in some categories are more successful than others, but at the same time, as soon as we find the success formula of working with the EDLP or high-low, we are going to spread it over, and duplicate it. We need some data to do the analysis and developing right solutions. And once again, I would like to say that I want to invite you to be a bit more proactive in this line item. As I'm nearing conclusion, I want to give you some examples, and these are some examples of where we are, or we have been working with our partners, optimizing our product mix. And just want to give you two categories. This would be the beverages and well, I want to say that as for October of this current year and the last year, we can see that the increased sales per one SKU. We can see some incremental growth. At the same time, the stock is decreasing. And what is equally important is the perceptions of the width of our product mix in these two categories, namely beverages and processed foods or groceries, processed foods. And I wanted to highlight that. Why? Because again, like I've mentioned before, the assortment optimization, it is not something done in the vacuum. We want to look through the eyes and perspective of our buyers. And just before I will move to my conclusion, speaking about or private labels or own brands, I want to say that, and once again, I would like to encourage all of us, let's be more proactive. The better we work, the more efficiency will be per SKU, and it will be equally important both for you and for us, and of course, for our customers and buyers. And at the end of my presentation, I would like to speak about developing private labels, and once again, to emphasize that, let's please, dear partners, I can see the huge promises and huge prospects for you and for us. Speaking about the numbers, just giving you the sheer numbers, the trends are upward, the trends are going up throughout all the indicators. We're setting up very ambitious plans. At the same time, I want to say that this success would not be possible without very intense communication with our partners and suppliers. Of course, we all have different perspectives, but still I want to say that we are having the procurement program. It's about a long-term communication. When once we have a deal, once we have the agreement, we can plan our joint future. And I believe in this today's situation, it is very, very important. Secondly, is improving quality. Quality is something we're not going to neglect of, but at the same time, what is very important to do is something which will bring value to our buyers. Yeah, it's a very simple, maybe even primitive example, but it is very illustrative in where we can have some room for improvement. Working in different line items, for example, socks, we've had some difficulties in terms of cutting down the cost of the socks, but when we began to dive deep, we saw that the package, some kind of tin foil, which has no value for a buyer. But again, it's like a 3 Russian rubles per cost base. So by optimizing the packaging of these like socks items, we could provide buyers the very value which they want. At the same time, we can optimize the price on the shelf. Socks would be just one example, and I want to share you that this is what our joint efforts have brought us to. And I think this would be the end of my presentation. Valerie, thank you. Am I right in understanding that all the things that you've been saying right now, speaking about your colleagues from the commercial directorate, you guys are going to speak about that at the roundtable and some other items you'll be discussing at the logistics roundtable and private labels roundtable in the second half of the day. Yes, we have a lot to talk about, and now Now, in this format, of course, we cannot provide all the answers, but we are going to have a roundtable time and we can dive deeper, have a closer look at different topics. Thanks again, and once again, I want to remind our colleagues that you can drop your questions into our chat box. You can send it to Valery himself, you can send it to our panelists from the previous sessions, and to all the CEOs of to Igor, to Yekaterina, to all the CEOs. So you can post your question just for certain speaker, or we can just ask a general question and we'll try to give you the best answer. And now I'm giving the floor to the commercial director of the Perekryostok, Dmitry Medvedev. Good morning, good afternoon, dear partners. It's great that we have time to communicate this year. It's too bad that we cannot meet here eye to eye offline, but hopefully we'll be able to fix it next year. And we will definitely do this throughout our negotiation campaign. Well, the main aspects of our strategy, it's a supermarket format, one of them, and I would like to give you just a short overview. In addition to our commercial strategy, what is the format strategy itself? I'm speaking about the supermarkets. You know, this year has been dramatic so far, and we've been asking questions like what's going to happen with the supermarkets, and is this segment bulletproof, and how about our target audience, this middle class, is that sustainable or not? And we are convinced, and it's not only just a sheer faith, but also some numbers and some stats we have for different countries. We are fully convinced that supermarkets are here to stay. They will survive, they will be popular because this segment is going to be growing and developing. And we as a Perekryostok, or the leading player, we have been a leading player in this segment. We are intending to grow by leaps and bounds very fast, and I would say that we're going to be ahead of the market, way ahead of the market, the average rate of growth in this market segment. Again, we have to adjust our strategy. We absolutely have to do that. Given what the circumstances are. And what I would like to say that we are still focusing on the so-called middle class. I'm speaking about urban areas and big cities, families with kids 5 years old and us, people have average income. They get their stuff delivered, they use delivery services, and I believe that our clients, they want to maintain their consumption level, they want to still consume fresh produce with affordable price. And what is important to say here is that we in Perekryostok, we have not been changing our position, and we're not moving upward to the premium segment. Neither do we go down to the discounters or sub-discounters. We're sticking to the middle price segment. It, however, does not mean that the price is not important to us. Again, listening to what Igor said and to what the CEO of the Valeria have been saying, that the principle of the best purchase price is still relevant for X5, and it is also very, very important to supermarkets and to the Perekryostok chain. Speaking about our competitive edge, we believe that on the backdrop of our supermarket chains, our main focus should be that we provide the first choice and the best choice to our clients in price-quality ratio, especially in the fresh produce category. In speaking about our own private labels, but not limited to private labels, I'm speaking about all the categories which are represented in our retail, chains. Again, but the clients are not thinking in formats. When they go to their mobile app or when they go out to the street to go shopping, and of course, the last thing that they would be thinking about is a format or category. So we do understand what our competitive advantage is against other market players, because we have high professionals, we have the wider choice, we can give them better offer, and hypermarkets or supermarkets, we have more convenient services and we're close to our buyers, and also Horeca service. We are predicting we can see quite a big overflow into Horeca because we've been investing in developing high quality cafe and high quality and affordable coffee. We are making rolls and pizza, And we believe that we've made quite a big progress in the last year and a half or 2 years. And this is one of the advantage of this sales channel. We understand our advantage and what we should do, what should be taken on in developing our online sales. And mostly these are our services, emotions in the store. And also speaking about discounters, like corner stores or convenience stores. It may be maybe the deal for the client price-wise could be a bit more profitable, but this price premium which Perikryostok is asking for their service, we believe that we have to have a legitimate, reason to ask for this price premium, and we're going to place bet on that. Our strategy is to grow in the big cities with million-plus population like Moscow or St. Petersburg for the very advanced audiences. So we are making a bet on a very fast and convenient delivery service, and express delivery is winning, and winning clients' loyalty and clients want it. And looking at our product mix, which is very, very wide, we have 14 to 16,000 SKUs on shelves. We have a lot of fresh stuff. We have a lot of vegetables and fruits and milk and other stuff. It's very, very popular, and we're going to again to focus on very convenient mobile application for delivery purposes and for keeping up the SLA service levels, which we are promising delivery in 60 minutes or less. So the mobile app for us, in a sense, would be like a 3-in-1. It also applies to the offline sales because all the loyalty programs are connected to the mobile apps, and also online sales and the CRM functionality, which is also embedded in this application. We will focus on online sales, on deliveries, and self-pickup and services like that. Next, I also would like to highlight and to mention what is our thinking. What is our thinking about developing product lines or product mix? Right now, on screen, you can see some examples which you may think are random. We've done it on purpose to give you a better understanding of the context and our thinking. What our thinking is, and our thinking may be very paradoxical because we want to develop a very emotional assortment. We want to differentiate ourselves through the product mix, and also want to build a product matrix. It is not a contradiction, because to be able to provide our clients and our buyers with a unique and differentiated emotional product mix with affordable price, you have to be super efficient. And to be super efficient, you have to have better terms and better shelf and high turnover rate of the SKUs. And those SKUs which are not turnoverable, or cannot be quickly turned over, they are not as needed for the client as the high turnover items, and they will be leaving our assortment matrix. We are about unification, about getting rid of inefficient tail. However, with this tail, we're not throwing away the client's needs. Client's needs will be represented on the shelves, and we are moving into more emotional assortment, not because of the private labels, but also due to private labels. As for our key categories, which you may see on the screen today, we will have later today a roundtable discussion. Myself and Anna Filin and other category directors in Perikryostok, we will be able to provide more detail in our vision, our strategy for the months and years to come, end of 2022, beginning of 2023, so that you would be able to make offers, more specific offers, with us and our needs in mind. These roundtables will be accessible to you as recorded versions. Like if you don't have time to join today, you'll be able to join us later and look at listen recording. Going back to differentiation again, own brands or private labels are super important. We have been insisting that the STM or private labels are the top priority. But this year of 2022, due to some external shocks and what we have been looking at, actually accelerated the development of the own brands. In Perikryostok and X5, we have a very quick rate of growth, and actually Pyaterочка would be the driver of private label development, and the volumes are growing due to our formats, and we are intending in the next year of 2023 want to increase the gap from the average private label market. If the market is going to be growing up to 15%, we want to go up to as high as 26% in the turnover. I'm speaking about the share of private labels in перекресток. Again, this is not the final number. It is not about the numbers. It's about quality. And quality is the basis of unique assortment. And again, to give you our perspective on our focus, we want to grow and develop in the mid and mid-high price segments. Of course, these mid and high segments means that the product should be affordable for our client base. The key focuses are portfolio strategy. While today, at the перекресток shelf, you can buy about 20 different brands. Most of these brands are not known to our clients because these are our own brands. We want to move to 4-5 focus brands. And I'm making a difference between the trademark and a brand because the brand is more than just a trademark. It's a sum of one's expressions, impressions. It's about consistency. It's about knowing the brand recognition with our clients. And these kind of cross-category brands are well known. It's a good quality for affordable price. Next would be the market situation. It's a synonym of перекресток. It's the price and quality ratio, market collection, high price and segment. It's a whole market beauty. This would be the umbrella brand, which applies to the cleanliness, the home chemistry, and chef перекресток as a brand of the ready-to-eat, packaged ready-to-eat food. Again, it's another bold bet which we're taking, and also the Green Line brand. The Green Line. It's a brand of the products with a clean composition, with the clean ingredients and logistics, and we're also making it one of the top priorities. I believe that today we do not have partners for the ready-to-eat, ready foods, but again, I would like to mention that. Why? Because it is not a secret for our partners, because in Moscow, in the central region, we have our own manufacturing base of the prepackaged food. It's our kitchen factory. We have achieved quite weighty and big outcomes in packaged in ready-to-eat food with a short shelf life. At the same time, we have a shortage of such offers of such supply in the region. So we are open to talk to those suppliers who are willing to prepare packaged ready-to-eat food with very short shelf life, with a good service and with a good quality to be developed in our regions. And to this end, we are becoming one of the major cafeteria network in our country. Today, we have over 150 of those cafes. We have about 300 coffee points in our stores. And by 2025, we are intending. Let's even talk about the year 2023. We want to double this network or chain within the перекресток. Basically, in 70% of our stores, clients can buy high quality and affordable coffee or ready-to-eat, ready-to-go food. We're open to developing partnerships in the open kitchen format. Open kitchen would be like rolls, sushi points, pizza points, and the alike, which we will be opening right in the stores. It's very emotional. It's a high quality product mix, like cooked right in front of you. And this is the Green Line trademark. I want to emphasize that because in 2022 we have a very good rate of growth despite of what is happening around us, and the external situation is also dealing a huge blow and really cutting the feet under the middle class of Russia in big cities. But this Green Line brand has been growing in Russia with a priority, and actually it's not a low base anymore. It's been a high base, about 100, 150, 120%. in the turnover. This is the growth. This is the growth of the brand. We're open to partnership for the Green Line brand, and the basic requirement will be the clean ingredients, recyclable packaging, and very, very short logistics and supplying, like a next day after you produce it. We're more than open for local partners and local partnerships. While in the last year we've had about 70 suppliers within the Green Line brand, now we have about 130 suppliers, and the demand has not been met. And the focus categories, you can see them on the screen, would be the meat, frozen foods, and the good sweets, natural beverages, fish, and lactose-free products. All of this is developing and growing very, very fast. You're welcome to join us. And in the next part of my presentation, I would like to mention about our partnership expectations. What do we think? What do we mean by efficient product mix? It's about the best price for the market leader, best purchasing conditions. An efficient product mix is about the high turnover. Efficient product mix or line is not have a burden for the working capital in providing you high density of the gross revenue by the 1 square footage. At the same time, efficient product mix would be good emotions for the buyer and good taste and some unique path of manufacturing, some kind of marketing story we can share with our clients. And this is the differentiator. It is a new solutions. It's like a handmade stuff, uniquely made stuff. And we would expect of you, dear partners, in this year 22, in the next 23, some new packaging technologies which will increase shelf life without decreasing consumer and other properties of the product, the optimal frequency of suppliers, the shorter lag, so-called speed of delivery. And it is very important to us the optimal quant of supply. We can see today that for Perikryostok, it's a big problem. It's a big problem which is not helping us to have a high turnover from over 1,000 supermarkets. So decreasing the quant or decreasing the lag is very important. And of course, pursuing our joint goals for revenues.
Perikryostok and X5, what are we ready to do and what are we already doing to achieve better results next year than we are having this year? Well, first of all, I need to mention the reduced time for implementation of a new SKU. We are not the best there. In the Advantage report, fortunately, Advantage is still here. And this year, according to them, we are still among the leaders as the X5 chain. But for us, it's a growth point. We are too slow. We are overly bureaucratized. We understand that we're going to improve on it. We will intensify our active sales. We are already doing, and we will continue doing this. Natalia Grefova, the logistics director, she's going to discuss that, the so-called joint planning. We will optimize the delivery schedule, especially for the fresh category. We are going to streamline assortment matrices. Very often we get your feedback saying that we don't understand what's happening. There are two stores, Perikryostok stores, 200 meters apart, and they are completely different in terms of their assortment. So assortment matrices are too variable, and yes, we are trying to streamline them, unify them to improve the efficiency of managing them. We will improve also the utilization of the trade space. We are using the relocator tool to improve the profitability per square meter, and the decisions will be made to either increase the density or reduce the density of certain categories. Then promotion sales, discontinuing certain inefficient products. We will also stop selling inefficient SKUs. The world is changing, the needs are changing, customers are changing. Certain non-food positions, they are migrating actively online. We are already strengthening our category expertise in the central office. Last year, we set up 3 strong teams of salespeople in the territories, territory center, northwest, and the territory regions, and their focus will be on execution at the level of these big macro territories. So one thing is to understand which assortment should be available on the shelf. Another thing is to bring the assortment in, improve it, and improve also the execution discipline. And we will also strengthen the marketing component in the stores also through our mobile app in order to promote the assortment. Here, I'd like to sidetrack a little bit and to wear a different hat for a while and say a couple of words about the key principles of the negotiations campaign for 2023. Officially, it has already started on the 1st of November. But let's walk through all the key features of this campaign. It's something that you have already heard from Igor, from the general directors of the chains, and you will hear it again during negotiations. But let's just repeat the principles one more time. The principle of the best purchasing price in the market, for us, it's a matter of principle. It's not dependent on the format, Пятерочка, Перекресток, or Чижик, and it extends to all purchasing prices. We are ready to optimize logistics and other components of the purchasing price. We are willing to renegotiate the terms during the negotiations campaign and after the negotiations campaign. You know that it never stops, not on the 1st of March, definitely it continues throughout the year. We are ready to jointly plan our volumes in all chains, and additional services of the partners, the value-added services, should not deteriorate the purchasing terms. In the previous years, perhaps consciously or subconsciously, we build on a lot of additional services, marketing, merchandising, equipment, etc. But it should not have a negative impact on our purchasing price, and it should be implemented in the most transparent fashion. These are all components of the purchasing price that are negotiated and agreed upon by the parties and understood equally by the parties. Stability of deliveries, predictability of deliveries, achieving the goals, the targets according to our goals for profitability for every chain, and also the availability and the availability of the assortment on the shelf. That's yet another principle. So to summarize the presentation, let me once again advertise the Dialog X5 portal. We've celebrated 2 years of its existence. It's a one-stop shop to all X5 services. You can send in your commercial offers through the portal, and we will continue developing this portal as a one-stop shop. If you are a new partner and you can't navigate on the portal, you still have questions, you don't understand which section to go to get the information, please get in touch with us and give us your feedback about the potential improvements to the portal. Of the news this year, despite all the difficult circumstances and reduced investment, we will still develop the portal. We launched 2 new modules. Insight is one of them. There you can register and you can review the category metrics free of charge. And another section, the new section, is test and learn. This is where you can make conclusions about the efficiency of the assortment using A/B testing technique. Thank you very much. Lena, over to you. Do you remember you wanted to say something nice to the suppliers? Well, X5, Перекресток, together with Пятерочка and Перекресток and other chains, we always are willing to play nice with the suppliers, especially if the principle of the best purchasing price is adhered to. So we would like to congratulate everyone, and we would be very happy to hand out our awards in person. It's a pity we can't shake your hands right now, but all of these awards will be sent to you by mail, and and sooner or later we'll be able to see each other personally or maybe online this year, next year. We will still be congratulating you, celebrating you at a later stage. But right now, I wanted to thank all our partners this year. Despite everything, we developed all aspects of our cooperation, including innovations, marketing, joint planning, logistics. So let's now turn to the awards ceremony. Yes, let's see who became leaders this year in all the nominations. Brand development and sales promotion. The winner is Baltic Brewery. The leader in efficient approach to assortment is Ostankino Meat Processing Factory. In 2022, our best partners in private labels are Ruscom, Yadrin Молоко, and Ekoniva group of companies. Efficient supply chains were built by the teams of Alcohol Siberian Group and Dmitrogorsky Produkt. The leader in generating new trends is Kubань Vino. In 2022, the winners in the Shopper's Choice nomination are PepsiCo and Danone. Customer Focus leader is Stella Group. Our best partner in sustainable development is Synergetic. Marketing in challenging conditions was mastered by Hochland. The winner in the best joint project and large-scale marketing is Mondelez. In the Marketing 360 nomination for their commitment to the social and environmental agendas, we celebrate Henkel. For their cooperation and loyalty, we thank Nizhny Novgorod Fats and Oils Refinery. We congratulate the winners in all nominations. As Dima has already announced, all the prizes and awards will be delivered to you either through your offices or handed over during our personal meetings. And on behalf of all our team, I'd like to thank all our partners for their consistent and cooperative attitude to joint work. Now we are ready to go to questions and answers. The whole team of speakers who were with you this morning are now on the stage. So let's welcome our colleagues one more time, and let's proceed to questions and answers. I will read the questions that you sent through the Q&A chat box. You can continue sending your questions. I will see them if new questions do come in. Valera, the first question is to you. How to take a place on the shelf next to well-known brands, and why do procurement people don't want to work with new brands? They prefer stagnation instead of developing new labels. Well, there is one simple way to get your product on the shelf. We have the suppliers platform. About 5,500 commercial propositions are sent via the portal to us each year. We give feedback to all of these proposals, and about 1,000 of these offerings end up on the shelf. So once again, this channel of communication is extremely efficient. At the same time, with respect to the comment, prefer stagnation instead of developing new labels? Well, if it were a fact, our performance would have been different. I could give you several examples when suppliers at the local level would compete efficiently with very, serious and strong brands. Okay, can you give us an example then from Пятерочка's practice? Oh, it just, comes to mind. Big brands with a history of 150 years, the brands that have left the market and they are now replaced with new brands and idea like the brands in the detergents category. And yes, they're being replaced quite efficiently by local brands. Or our private label. Take this example. We see how the position in dairy, for instance, is changing. Our brands do not have as much support as the global brands, and at the same time, today they are demonstrating very good growth dynamics. Slava, the next question is to you. The question is on assortment optimization. All chains talk about assortment optimization. And if you'd like to add something to Vladislav's answer, please go ahead. It's a sensitive matter for all suppliers. Can you give us more details? Which categories will be optimized, are being optimized? What are the principles of optimization? Yes, thank you for the question. Very well. Most of the more direct optimization has already been carried out. The optimization was easy to understand and transparent. We optimized the least demanded products. We optimized the positions that produced the least value and profitability margins and sales. Now our task is to restructure the categories given the current possibilities and capabilities. Some categories perhaps need to be allocated more space and the assortment should be widened. Sometimes we see if more space is given to a particular category, the customers appreciate it because more of their needs are being addressed and the categories grow almost at 100%. At the same time, we see when you increase the shelf space for other categories, I don't know, take Пятерочка, for instance, the big format and the smaller one, we see certain dynamics. When you install a certain number of shelves or racks, the category is growing. It's showing a good growth rate, but beyond a certain number of shelves and racks, it's becoming flat or it's decreasing. So we are going to optimize that. We will retain everything that satisfies the needs of our customers. Categories A, B, and even C will be retained, but again, we will make our decisions based on what we too are getting out of it and how fast moving the product is on the shelf and what the margins are that the products produce. Again, depending on the quantums of delivery. And of course, we will talk to each supplier individually. We will discuss all of that. Our objective is to make assortment efficient. I don't know about the goals of other chains whenever they talk about reducing the assortment, but we have several objectives. We want to be efficient in terms of every square meter, in terms of every SKU. We also want to make the processes inside our stores more efficient. We want to be able to guarantee to the supplier and to the customer the availability, the constant availability of the product on the shelf, so that during the day, the product that is present in the matrix would be also present on the shelf. It's not like by midday half of the category is missing, and we can't refill the shelves. So there are several factors of why we are optimizing the assortment. And again, like I said, we are willing to talk to each supplier individually to explain our position, to share the numbers, to explain why we would like to keep or not to keep a certain position in our matrix. What about illustrations? What about examples? Because it's easier to understand a situation if you have a case study. Yeah, sure. Okay, case studies, fine. Like pet food, we see that in our smaller formats, OA4 or A5, we had once a module for pet food, and then we would add a second or a third module. When we expand the assortment, we see that the customers appreciated our category growth there. I don't know, it almost doubles. We see that more modules in pet food addresses better the needs of the customer. So we decided that in A5 format, we will also add another module, one more module, to give a bigger choice to the consumer. And of course, the trade space is limited. Therefore, if we add a module in one category, something has to be taken off. There is another category. There would be a category where if you remove one module, you will not see much change in the saleability of that product. So we will continue investigating these opportunities, restructuring the shelves, restructuring the assortment. Again, some products will be expanded, others will be reduced. Andrei, a question to you. Assortment in Перекресток. In Перекресток, the idea of assortment optimization that you mentioned should go hand in hand with the variety of assortment so that Перекресток can differentiate from competitors. So how is this possible? Okay, optimization. Optimization means taking off the shelf the products that are not demanded by the customers, not an adequate, I don't know, price value or freshness or something else. Another parameter is a certain commercial margin, sales margin that we expect to get from each category. And the third parameter is how fast the products are moving. If we see that the products are not sold at the rate of the payment terms, it means that we are crediting the supplier. So we want these timelines to match each other. So these are the three parameters that we use in order to optimize the assortment available on the shelf. As to the variety of the products available, the variety, it doesn't mean 10 similar Doktorskaya bologna sausage on the shelf. We are talking about 10 different types of meat products, not 10 different bologna sausages. So once again, 10 different bologna sausages is depth, but we are talking about variety. We are talking about width of the assortment. Okay, now it's clearer. I think, Katya, a question to you. This year, there were objective issues with logistics and packaging and raw materials, and often suppliers would write to us through the associations or through the X5 Dialog portal. So what are the mechanisms of discussing the problems, the challenges that our suppliers face? Yes, at the start of the year, for objective reasons, many suppliers had issues with deliveries of equipment and raw materials. We met them halfway. We introduced a moratorium on fines, payment of fines, since mid-March this year. And recently there was a meeting of X5 with all unions of suppliers where we wanted to provide more confidence to our suppliers. So again, if there are under-deliveries, we are willing to sign a special agreement to establish a moratorium on the payment of fines. all cases are studied on an individual basis, and all outstanding issues can be discussed today during the logistics roundtable discussion. But we are in touch with the suppliers and with the unions. There is always this arbitration commission. You can contact us directly, or you can contact us via the union. And again, each case is investigated and studied individually. Igor, question to you. X5 in 2023, to which regions do you plan to expand? Is there any difference in terms of expansion plans between the chains, the store chains? Well, we plan to develop in all regions of our presence subject to the law on trade. You know that it establishes a monopoly threshold of 25%. There are certain regions that are not available for our development, but there aren't that many. And there are certain municipalities where we still have a lot of space for growth. And so we plan to develop in all these municipalities next year. Today, we are present in 7 federal districts. In 2023, we plan to enter a new federal district, which is the Far East. In terms of chains, Pektorechka and Chizhik, they plan big expansion in municipalities. Chizhik plans to enter new cities, new municipalities, and Perekryostok, our main focus will be on reconstruction, upgrades. There will be many upgrades next year to act on the value-added services and CVP of Perekryostok properly. And Perekryostok will also focus on its development in big cities. Okay, another question from geography. In the last year, the number of suppliers is shrinking. Do you have new geographies of imports? Well, imports, direct import is the focus of this year, and the total share of import in X5 is not declining, it's actually increasing. We see growth year on year in certain categories, and yes, indeed, there are new countries with which we cooperate. There is now Vietnam, there is Iran. We are working on the contracts with India. Turkey has always been our long-standing partner. The neighboring countries, Uzbekistan, Azerbaijan, are also adding, they're joining the list. But yes, the geography has changed, but the volumes remain stable. I saw numbers in one of our press releases. In terms of import, the number of importers is growing 30% year on year. Yes, indeed. Imported products are very much in demand. So in some categories, there is a shrinkage, and in other categories, direct imports, for instance, we have growth in the number of suppliers. Okay, thanks. Igor, a question on general strategy. You mentioned that we plan to achieve a revenue growth of at least 25% per annum. What is the forecast for this year? We don't make any forecast, but in terms of guidance, we are talking about around 2 trillion, at least 2 trillion. Okay, 2 trillion, quite a specific number. Andrei, a question on Perekryostok. Printed materials and toys, goods for children, and books, newspapers are underrepresented in Perekryostok. Do you have any plans for these categories? Oh, okay. Children, we do not have any plans to expand the children's shelf, but we plan to change it in terms of quality. We do not want to compete with large kids' department stores, but we want to offer products that are more aligned with an impulsive purchase that kids make. So we want to introduce, novelties, new products. We will be focusing on the assortment available. As to the printed materials, we plan to reduce that shelf because the target audience for us are, they are modern people who rarely read printed press. And the demand for printed press in our target audience is constantly going down, and soon it will approach zero. Okay, that's a very specific answer again. Good guidance for the partners. Dima, a question, a technical one, but it's an important question. Exporters of fruit and vegetables from Uzbekistan are writing, they have fallback from Sorma, the Italian packaging company. They want to work with X5, but they can't write a contract. There are problems with contractual terms, the technical details of the contract. Okay, it's a technical question. I suggest, well, first of all, the portal. The portal can be used only by Russian suppliers who have the Russian taxpayers' numbers to send the proposals via the portal. If you are a foreign supplier, you don't have Russian taxpayers' numbers. We have an RVI team, the import team. We will share the contacts of that team at the end of the session with everyone, so that our foreign suppliers, current or potential ones, will be able to contact them. So RVI, they need to write to RVI directly, right? Okay, you will get in touch with that import team. There is a question on Chizhik, and Ilya has already answered it. It's a supplier of Pechorechka and Perkrestok writing, one of the leaders in the segment. What should we do to get to the Chizhik's shelf? And I think, Ilya, you have already answered the question. You need to send the portal. You send your proposal to the portal, and then if Chizhik likes your proposal, Chizhik will get in touch with you. Yes, if we decide that, I don't know, we need soft beverages in glass, at the moment we're not selling soft beverages in glass, but if at one point in time we decide that we need soft beverages in glass, we will get in touch with the proposal if you send us your So yes, we have a vision for our needs, and then we will organize a competition among the suppliers who will be able to produce the product in accordance to our specification. So once again, colleagues, this procedure is different for Chizhik. Please be mindful of that. Vlad, a question to you. From the supplier who produces premium products, numbers are coming up, okay? Be attentive. Spam meat, purchasing price 300 rubles, recommended retail price 430 rubles. It contains meat and salt, that's it. Many networks many chains are refusing the product because the price is not competitive. But the audience who is buying pelmeni dumplings at 600 rubles a kilo, they wouldn't be buying tushonka spam meat at 200 rubles a can. This is Atlantida company asking. Okay, thank you for the question. Remember, I had this quotation from Dale Carnegie. Let's think about what the market wants and needs. You have answered your question yourself. Many chains are not taking this product because the price is not competitive. I think that people who buy pelmeni dumplings, they may not necessarily buy canned meat. It depends on, well, if you talk about the chain, you have to understand who your target audience is, who is the target audience for the product, and how many people a month, or rather, how many people are willing to pay 430 rubles per a can of spam meat out of all people who come to Pechorechka. If the average check in Pechorechka is 500 rubles, do you think your price, your product fits the target shelf that we offer to the clients? I'm not ready now to discuss the 430 rubles price, but usually we consider all canned meats available in the market, and then we decide on our target segment. And we also, I talked about that. We talk to our consumers via the shelf. The shelf is our language. And if on average the canned meat price is 200 rubles, 300 rubles, and if the canned meat that you buy at 300 rubles, you buy, I don't know, salt meat and perhaps spices like laurel leaf, then why should the customer pay 430 rubles. So the person, Angelina, I think, asked the question, right? Was that the name that you said? So you should reconsider whether your product is for the mass market or not, or is it Bentley among the canned meats? Bentley among the canned meats. Well, probably some are willing, they want to buy Bentley in canned meats. Well, probably, but then you have to find the appropriate store for it, a premium competitor. It's not the mass market, that's what I'm trying to say.
What I was trying to say that though people always strive to get the best, but sometimes, like they say, the good is the enemy of the best, or vice versa. So if you think about how can you cut your costs, it's a good example. It's quite logic which can be applied to any product, not only canned Bentley. Dmitry, question about online sales. We have not given much attention to online sales, even though in previous conferences we've been discussing about that a lot. Why online sales is not a very big topic of our conference? Do you think online is going to grow in 2023, and what brands will be would be very well known? Well, online is a very integral part of our business, and our buyers are now want to get stuff delivered to them, and it's a very, very important component of our business today. And we were among the first, and back in 2018 we were providing delivery from our own stores, and our own delivery is still the key. And the leadership in delivery is also one important aspect of our activities in the years to come. So we are planning to provide the leadership, to ensure leadership in delivery. It's a CVP. Buyers come to Pyaterочка in Percursic online stores, and they can buy food via online channels. Some comments of what is our today's perspective. Well, previously we've been thinking about our own deliveries, and today we are looking at a hybrid model. Since August, we have connected the biggest aggregators, so that we'll be able to provide this service to the larger cohort of players. We are going to have our own delivery services, and we're going to combine with those aggregators, delivery aggregators on the Russian market. But still, delivery will be very high volume, at least 30 to 40% of the total volume. Vlad, back to you. And other panelists, if you have something to say, please jump into our conversation. Yeah, I can say something about the canned food, okay. Anyway, the question, Vlad, is about the volume purchase guarantees. You've mentioned that you are willing to move on to the volume purchase guarantees. How it is happening, how it is going to happen in the future. As a matter of fact, the guarantee of the volume of purchase is one of the elements of our strategy of developing our partnerships. And I've been speaking about that in our presentation. Our goal is that our shelf price would be more and more accessible or affordable. We want to make it more affordable. We are willing to invest into that, and we're expecting our partners to do the same, to invest into a retail price or a shelf price. And one of the prerequisites of that is we are willing to provide certain guarantees. Of course, we are in the beginning of this path. We've never done this before. We had been working only with our own private labels, but now we're still learning. It's a learning curve. But I believe that definitely it's one of the most important elements which can be sort of done only in partnerships. We must have it because purchase guarantee is a guarantee for a supplier at certain volumes. They know that we will buy certain volumes, and they can plan their business activities and their operations in their company, and on and on. So let us not look at the purchase volume volume purchase guarantee. It's just a one-off. It's going to be ongoing work because we said that we want to have the best buying prices. We want to have most affordable price on the shelf, and we want our categories to grow and to outstrip those of competitors. And the goal of each and every team in business is to have internal discussion of how can we do so. And purchase volume guarantees would be one of the tools or one of the elements of obtaining this value on the both sides of the deal. Dmitry, a question for you. From the Ukraine company based in Murmansk in St. Petersburg. And it's a question about the speed of your response to commercial proposals, business proposals. They say that it's very slow to get a feedback from you, that you have a bottleneck for the promos, and the supplier is not quickly, responded to. And the question about the promo, and Pyaterочка has a great example of selling in St. Petersburg from the farmer markets, from the shelf, but we don't have enough room for development, even though the average check for our products is much more lucrative. Like, it's not legible. I'm sorry in what this person is writing. What can you say? And I believe that they actually have so many sub-questions in one question. It may require a special discussion or separate discussion. Anyway, what I want to say is that the products of Ukraine company is really a high-quality one. We have these products in Murmansk, definitely in St. Petersburg. And right now, I do not have all the details in terms of correspondence and feedback. But I want to say that all inquiries from our suppliers, we have to provide feedbacks. We have a special dashboards. We are looking into this situation, and we are attempting to provide a quick feedback to any commercial proposals. Well, it is happening that not all answers can be suitable, can be okay with our partners. And actually, they say that OCDLP, Ukraine is saying that Pyaterочка has been working in that. So it looks like we have some positive things, some positive stuff to talk about. Yeah, Dmitry, what are you trying to say is that they have to write it, they have to call you. And now Andrei was saying that he has like a PO box or a mailbox, and supplier companies can actually send their inquiries and requests. Valerie, back to you about the napkins, wet napkins. This supplier has been trying to sign partnership deal for 2 years with the open book, with the open information, but unfortunately Pyaterочка is saying that they are not ready for such a relationship. But at the conference, you are saying about one of your priority to have a strategic partnership. Who should we go to? They ask about this type of partnership. I'm sorry, I didn't quite get the question. Well, they're saying that they want to have a mutually beneficial, agreement about the open information about the pricing. Yeah, I get it. Okay. And they say Pyaterочка is not willing to engage in this kind of partnership. Well, in this particular case, I'm not. It's not at the top of my mind. Let's continue this discussion in offline, and we'll just connect to the supplier, because I'm sure that we have a private label supplier in napkins and wet napkins. So I guess this is the question about some competitive term. Unfortunately, I cannot give you a name because they did not specify the name. Please write, please, dear supplier, please identify yourself, and then Valerie will look into this case, into this situation in detail. Yeah, go ahead, please. Or maybe you can provide a wider answer about strategic partnership. Speaking of strategic partnership, a strategic partnership is not a cure-all. Like a supplier came and say, hey, I want to sign a contract with you. We have to have a matching of different factors. First of all, these products should be a part of our vision of what should be on the shelf. Your product should be meeting some of our need. I mean, we have the price need, like want to meet some price demand. There is a quality need. There is one to provide the quality for a more like a reasonable price, or there may be a desire to substitute a certain brand on a shelf because we may not like a certain brand. So all these things have to align. And if we have a private label supplier, being a responsible partner, we've signed a contract with them for a period of time, okay? Be it a year, be it 2 years, and we have assumed some responsibilities and volume guarantees. If your terms and conditions are better, you can be a part of the next tender for the same product for the for the private label, to sign a new contract. And maybe if you will identify yourself, or if you'll come back to our roundtable discussion with the same question, our guys will be able to provide you with an answer. Please understand that a strategic partnership is our ideology, it's our way of thinking. But it's not like a cure-all kind of universal thing, like, okay, want to sign up such partnership with each and everybody. We need some proposals for you, financial proposals. We want a better price, both in a purchase and also on the shelf price. And this retail price, again, should meet some demand, which we have. So I think we can talk with our colleagues during the roundtables discussions. We'll have the heads of the both retails, but again, I just want to provide this kind of feedback for the time being. Okay, Dmitry and Valery, it's a question from Maria, from the juice marketing, like a marketing department from the juice factory or juice production, about the prospects of the non-top producers in juice category. Is there a trust of the consumers in the middle segment in juices? What are the current realities, like the budget, low-cost buyer? Do they care more about the price, or do they care more about quality? Yeah, so many questions, the marketing department, of course. This year we've seen many changes on the market, and speaking about the juices, this category has been quite depressive. It's been a shrinking category throughout the year, and again, looking at external shocks, and this year, they've played a role, and now some of the buyers, they switch from the sparkling products into juices. Like, you could never guess it, you could never assume it. If the middle price segment are popular, yes, it is. What do they care more about, the price or quality? Yeah, I think it's always some kind of ratio of price quality, and it's a question about brands. Yes, it's also a window of opportunity which opened up this year, but because some of the big brands have left the Russian market, or some big brands have been kind of changing their appearance. So it's a window of opportunity not only to become like a local players but also become the federal players. They can do so, but at the same time, this category is very, very open. So we are welcoming juice producers and the local juice producers who would like to be a part of the middle price segments in private label, medium price segments. Thank you. I want to say that this whole topic about the categories, about the different categories, we're going to dive deep during our roundtable discussions. You've mentioned about the service and strategic partnership. We're going to also dive into that. We're going to elaborate on that. Also, now we've answered 18 questions. We have 20 more minutes for the Q&A. So I'm seeing about 37 questions, 37 more, or I'm sorry, 20 more. Let's move like a more express regime to be able to provide as many questions as we can. Valery, it's a question for you. How can we get to the normative stock and to increase the stock so that the Pyaterочка buyers would enjoy our products like 24/7? Yeah, briefly, you can manage stock on your shelf by the quantum of supply and by the frequency of supply. But if we take like a broader look, broader perspective, we do have CP4 project. It's basically like a joint forecasting, joint planning. And I would simply go to these particular projects and talk with our colleagues in terms of supply for this project, where we can dive into details and we can optimize both of our stock, and also to ensure that we have the pain-free, and for the CPFAR and for the implant. And we have will be some cases, and we can go further to the implant model. Actually, we can look into these cases. You can listen these cases not only online, but they'll be recorded. You'll be able to listen to them later on should you visit any roundtable discussion, and the attendees will tell us how they do it. Vlad, it's a question about a strategy, about the territories. In terms of the assortment and the shelf, you guys are signing contract through the central team. What kind of tools do you provide to avoid fragmentation between different teams? Well, now we are amid so-called restructuring. We've made a certain power matrix. Now we're looking at this matrix, how it is working. We're trying to update or correct this matrix. But what do we want? We want our commercial function to work within the matrix structure. And basically, any decision about federal products, they have to be made as a team. It's a team-based effort on the territory and of the central leader of this category, overseeing this category. And then there'll be like a cascading down to suppliers, just a general agreement between them. As for local or territorial suppliers, they will be working with their territories. In this kind of a quorum, we shall be dedicated to localize the shelf, sometimes more, sometimes less, depending on a number of proposals and whether it will be very, very popular with our buyers. And again, it will be up to the territorial managers to make a decision on that. We think it will be a matrix structure, firstly, and secondly, we think this will be some like a product matrix committees, and next will be the category strategy, which will be defended on the top tier of the company and also in different locations. So I think we need to have a bit of time to balance out the area of responsibility and decision-making area. And I think by the New Year's time, we'll be able to complete that, and in 2023, things will make more sense. If you guys will have any problems, any questions, or anything, or any misunderstandings, again, please don't shy away, but again, to connect with us. You can call me, you can write me, and you and I will be able to smooth those rough edges, so to speak. Of course, any transformation is a challenge, and transforming such a huge company as a Pyaterочка is like very, very difficult. And again, once in a while, you can see some problems, big or small, which pop up during this transformation. So I believe our joint effort is to do away and deal with these problems. Thank you. While I was asking a previous question, I looked it up. It looks like we have 74 questions, 20 answered. Let's do the express version to go quickly through the questions. Again, Vlad, to you about the merchandise of the day or the item of the day action. They think that it negatively impacts the growth of the category. Should we count into the long-term development like this kind of analytics? It's a question from PepsiCo. Especially for our PepsiCo friends, I want to say that looking at our analytics, we see that this kind of like a item of the day sort of campaign is very, very popular. It provides a special, like a increased turnover. But we're seeing, looking at the checks, that yes, people buy like the item of the day or offer of the day. People come back to the stores to buy it. We have a big marketing plan for the next year, and we are going to look into all the promo campaigns which we've done this year and analyze them, because frankly, we had been experimenting a lot, and item of the day was one of such experiments. So I'll say that so far we haven't made up our mind, haven't made up final decision. We're going to continue the same format, maybe a different format, but we would like, again, to deal with our partners and to talk with you, because, again, this year we've done some FDI, the direct investments, And now we have to understand, are partners ready to be a part of these kind of investments? Do they like it? Do they want it? And then we'll be making a decision. So far, no final decision yet. Thank you, but yes, we're coming to certain conclusions, and we can provide these conclusions to you. Dmitry, why priorities for the promo are given to the federal suppliers? Aren't we depriving our clients of choosing their favorite regional brands? So how aren't we limiting capabilities for joint growth? No, the priority for the promo, it is not about whether you're a federal or a local supplier. It's about how efficient you are. And of course, we are evaluating, we're guided by these criteria whenever we're building our promo plan. What do I mean by efficiency criteria? It's like, can we put this merchandise in the promo basket, or is it providing some incremental traffic to us? There are some different criteria like discounts in category and such. So this is the main criteria, but also in each region in Pyaterочка we have the local promo, and if you are a popular merchandise, it gives us the bigger basket of the traffic. You can be a part of it. Vlad, it's a question about the theft, shoplifting. Can it limit our sales because we're afraid of the theft, afraid of the shoplifting issue? Yeah, going back to what I was saying before, in the very beginning. It's all the same, you know. Why the stores are reluctant to put something on the shelf? Because people steal more than they buy. We need some joint solution. We absolutely cannot, to provide security for each and every item on a shelf. This is not feasible. This is not, realistic. We do not need that. We simply have to understand, is it profitable to sell this particular merchandise? Or maybe we can even give it for free, or maybe to give it like an item of the day, which will not be stolen because it'll be we'll be running out of it sooner. Again, it's a lot of decisions, and your goal is to sell and not to guard, not to safeguard, okay? Not to do a security function, because most of the merchandise is not being stolen in some kind of critical volume. I cannot give you all the details, or you have to specify what kind of merchandise you mean, and then I can give you more information. Or all in all, we do not perceive the goal. We don't have this challenge of increasing costs for the anti-theft, situation, or increased security. Some memes, like our goal is to sell, not to safeguard. We can actually, take some of the memes. Vlad, again, the question to you for the volume guarantees. Are you going to put this on paper? Are you going to ensure some joint logistical processes? I think in part I've answered this question already. Now we are developing a system of how we can guarantee volumes. Again, it's going to be a joint project, because there are part of the some of the ingredients, like a service level of suppliers, which have to be put down on paper and to be guaranteed, because we cannot supply more, supply less. It's a promo, calendars, and other things. Today we do have a practice of issuing a guarantees for volumes for a certain sampling in the private labels, and I think we are going to proliferate this best practice to the brand suppliers. There is a flip coin, other side of the flip coin. Suppliers, they also have to guarantee SA or service level, and also the revenue and the best price on the shelf, because we want to make sure that this price will be attracting buyers and will be able to sell it all. In this case, once again, I want to emphasize, it's all comes down to partnership. Yes, we want to put down on paper, want to sign an agreement, a contract, because we also have to assume some level of responsibility. Andrei, whenever you buy something, I cannot write off bonuses from my account in the app. It's a question from the buyer, right? It's a question from the buyer, because now we have decreased level of loyalty. Thanks to the IT guys, we've increased this functionality. We're building the new functionality, and you will be able to pay with your bonus points, but now those are bonus points only from the virtual cards in our applications. So we're making people to migrate from the physical cards into the app, into the application, and we are decreasing the fraud with the physical plastic cards. Thank you, Ilya. People say thank you for the high quality challenge. Based on the latest analytical data, what will be the change or shift in demand for emotions, for additional SKUs that they would like to get? How are you planning to work in shopper engagement in Chizhik chain? And what product categories are going to involve? Well, we have a buyer's involvement in the shelf like composition, and second part would be the private labels, high quality, high level private labels, which are great not only in terms of ingredients but also in terms of the shelf price. And this is how we involve our buyers. Valery, can you give us a DLP situation? What are the plans and what are the promotion tools? I believe it is not about the plans, because we do not have some goals percentage-wise, which would be the DLP. We do not have it for the very obvious reasons, because right now we're looking into that, we're studying. In some categories it does work, both for us and for the buyer and for the producer, while in other categories, like a chocolate, it works somewhat different. What are we going to do for sure? Like I was saying before, and I'm encouraging all of the partners to do this, we're going to pilot some categories and test them, because it provides lowest price, which is in line with our CVP. And the communications, we're also working on communications and shelf toppers and things like that. Yeah, like a standard promotion tools in the store. And also somebody is asking you, no, just give me a second. It's a question for Yekaterina. What's the situation with the pilot projects on increasing the confirmation time for orders? Yes, it was one of the questions that we have been discussing at the latest meeting with our suppliers. It's a question which is a point of concern with many of our customers. Can we increase the confirmation time for the order? We have agreed that yes, we can try to pilot it for some categories to increase the order confirmation time. We will see how our system will be reacting to that, but at the same time, we have been saying that it may not apply to the fresh, ultra fresh, where we need to have a high turnover and a high supply level. And after the pilot, we'll be making a decision about whether we deploy it or maybe coming up to different conclusions. And we have like a last final 5 minutes for the Q&A. The next challenging question is, if you provide your what will be the speed of your feedback, of your response? It's like 5 working days. It doesn't mean, however, that in 5 days we will be able to provide you a complete answer. I guarantee that we will take a look, we'll study your inquiry and make a decision and provide a feedback. It is not like you've sent me a message and like I cannot put the merchandise on the shelf, but at least I'll look into that, into your inquiry, and we will give a different perspective. So this is my answer about this kind of feedback channel. Thank you.
Ilya, the question is on assortment development. Letters of warranty. Is it possible to get them at demand, on demand? Well, you see, Chizhik makes mid-term projections, and we assume responsibility for execution of volume. So yes, we are positive. We have a positive perspective on both parties to the contract honoring their commitments. The next question is about Our loyalty program, how does it feel itself? We have already touched upon our loyalty program. What are the potential collaborations with the suppliers? There will be a discussion around this at the marketing roundtable, but can you give any comments? Yes, we had certain issues with the loyalty program at the start of the year because an international contract that supported us stopped the support. So within a very short period of time, we had to develop our own software. We did that, and the loyalty program is back since summer. Yes, our customers had experienced an inconvenience when we could not we could not use the points to pay for the purchases. Now, well, you know that in the past, our different retail chains had different loyalty programs. Now they're all merged. The customer journey is simplified. The customers can now take their own decision where they will be able to pay with the points accumulated either at Peterочка or Перекресток, and then it will be up to the chains themselves to decide how customers can collect the points. And we ask all our suppliers to join our loyalty program as partners. There are different mechanics on how we can interact with our suppliers through the loyalty program. Katya, a new importer, is it? I'm not sure I understand the question. How can new importers probably join? Well, we do not have any exporters who would be given to us or imposed on us. You can enter onto the list of our importers. If you have a proposal, please send it to RTVI. Bonduel participates in the kindness basket for several years, and we would like to send our top managers and employees as volunteers to the stores in the regions. Well, yes, of course, that's possible. Volunteer programs, joint volunteer programs, yes, we can organize that. That's good news. Sales in kilos or in rubles or margin, what is more important for Peterочка, Vlad? Wow, a heavy question, a loaded question. Well, it's a good question. Kilos and rubles make up for margin. The margin is made up of kilos and rubles. So what is important for us is for the category to grow in rubles, but not through inflation, but through higher sales. So, well, everything matters. Everything matters. And margins in percentage terms is an indicator of how healthy the business is. It's not a silver bullet. Will not be wringing your hands for 0.5% more, but what matters is how much we can add to the gross profit from every product. This is the decisive factor. You can't select one. You can't. I mean, if you ask me to select between the three different options, I would select traffic and sales in rubles. It's the goat. You know this riddle, how to get the wolf, the goat, and cabbage across the river in several goes. Yes, there is a solution to even this riddle, to even this problem. So for us, well, sometimes traffic is a priority. We see that. In some places, traffic is suffering, so we should concentrate on traffic. In other cases, perhaps category is more important. We can expect higher sales through intensified efforts and the growth in rubles. But if you've been listening to me carefully, what is really important for us is sales density in our stores is like for like less the inflation adjusted for inflation. So we need to see whether the supplier's produce generates value inside the stores. If we see that that product in the same category, that supplier's product is in demand, it's optimal, it's a good value for money, it gives us certain profitability, then of course we will prefer these products. All other things being equal, we will see whether your product is a good fit for the shelf. In every business, there are 50 shades of gray. It's not black and white. Well, I see that we've already collected more than 100 questions, and the remaining 2 minutes will not be able to answer all of them. But as always, we will commit to come back to you with our replies, send them to you via the portal. A question. Fugital, what's the vision? What are the plans? Online, offline tools, integration, what are the plans? Andrei, Dima, anyone who's going to... Fugital. Oh, probably. I'm sorry, it's Fugital. But maybe Fugital is a new term. It's an interesting idea. Well, I think that a couple of years ago, Fugital was very much in fashion, but now it's become a routine. Not just X5, but the whole market has become omni-channel. So there's seamless customer journey and communication online and offline with the customers. You can get a special loyalty program proposal from your self-payment terminal, or in the loyalty app, you can get an offer inviting you to go to a particular physical store. So for me, all of these are examples of digital. If you talk about some phygital, hardcore phygital in physical stores, you would install some islands. We're not planning that at the moment because the customers do not see the need. Our focus of development on all retail chains of X5 is usability and the usefulness of our apps to the customers. Thank you very much. I would like to thank all the speakers and all partners who have been with us, who asked questions. I've got 2 messages. I was told that there was a slight technical delay at the start of our broadcast when part of the broadcast was missing. Well, if that's what happened to you, then we will be recording. We have recorded the whole session. We'll be uploading that to the portal. You will be able to view them at your leisure at a later stage. We are going to make a break now till the roundtable discussions. We received a lot of questions, more than 100 are still unanswered. We are going to discuss many of these issues during the panel discussions. Logistics, marketing, category strategies, guarantees, warranties, all of this is going to be discussed during the panel sessions. Not only our managers will be talking there, but some of our suppliers will be making presentations. Once again, thank you for being with us. Thanks to all the speakers. And we are breaking until 1 p.m. Moscow time. Thank you.